Greetings, fellow humans. Katrina here. Quick disclaimer, I'm a licensed professional counselor. I'm not necessarily your counselor. Anything about to say should not be taken as medical, legal, or otherwise advice. This podcast is purely for entertainment and educational purposes only. Disclaimer over. So today I thought we'd talk a bit about red flags in a relationship. Now, your mind probably already went to a romantic relationship, but just because that's what most people are talking about when they talk about red flags doesn't mean that's the only relationship to consider. So when I talk about these red flags that I'll mention today, I do mean in any relationship. And the point of knowing which behaviors are red flags to look out for is number one, to avoid inflicting those hurtful behaviors on other people. If we're not aware that we're doing something, we continue to do it, that's just not helpful. Then the other is to take the actions needed to protect oneself when others behave that way to us. So without further introduction of what a red flag is, I'll go ahead and say the first one, which is contempt. Contempt can be camouflaged as sarcasm, being condescending, hurtful humor, insults, or making fun of someone. It sends the message of one person being superior and the other being inferior. Another red flag is suspicion. Suspicion stems from not believing that somebody has your best interest at heart. It can show up as attempts to track whereabouts, control behaviors, or limit relationships with other people, even if those relationships are healthy and supportive ones. Another red flag is lack of communication. So that can mean shutting down discussions with emotional distance, so like the silent treatment, or anger, or changing the topic. It can also be dominating conversations, leaving others with no time to talk, or not listening when they do talk. Another red flag is dishonesty. That can show up both as knowingly telling untruths, or it can be withholding information. Impatience is another red flag, and that is demonstrated by frequent frustration with the natural ebb and flow of life, or having expectations that are unrealistic or inappropriate. Another red flag is rigidness. Rigidness is expecting things to be a specific way, regardless of circumstance. It's accountability, but taken to the extreme. Dependence and conformity is another red flag, and those things require someone to give up their autonomy. It requires the following of rigid relationship, quote unquote, rules, and it demands that struggles in the relationship be kept secret, even from trusted and supported people. Another red flag is lack of reciprocity. So that is when one person insists that their stipulations be met, but is unwilling to consider someone else's needs, asks that rules be broken for them, or rarely contributes to shared work. Another red flag is lack of empathy. Lack of empathy is shown by a refusal or inability to consider another person's perspective and the reason that they might feel that way. Another red flag is lack of appreciation. And so that is signaled by not noticing someone's efforts, not expressing gratitude, or neglecting to acknowledge someone's contributions. I do believe that is a love language. There's that book, The 5 Love Languages, and it does talk about words of affirmation or appreciation, something like that, being one of the ways that some folks show their love. Another red flag, though, is lack of growth. Lack of growth is found in red flag relationships. If minimizing mistakes is the priority, that leaves no room for learning and changing. Finally, poor conflict resolution is a red flag. Now, that includes yelling or physical harm, misplaced blame, defensiveness, overgeneralizing, a need to win, forgetting to listen to the other person, making assumptions, attacking someone's character, and refusing to discuss problems. So here are some general questions that will help you determine if you're in a red flag relationship with somebody or if you're in a green light one, which we might cover green lights in next week episode. In fact, I just made that decision right now. I'll go ahead and cover green flags next week. So some questions that can help you determine what kind of relationship that you're in. I've got 4 of them for you. Number 1, how does this person treat others? Kindly and patiently, aggressively, manipulatively? Number 2, how does this person deal with conflicts? If in the wrong, does this person apologize and work towards repairing hurts, or are they spiteful and cruel? Number 3 is, how do you feel when you're with this person? Do you feel supported and understood? Do you feel nervous, hurt, weighed down? Listening to our emotions is helpful. Lastly, does this person make you feel like you matter? Or are you left feeling trivialized or ignored? It's important to listen to our own emotional experience, and sometimes that gut feeling can give you the indication if you're in a red flag situation. Listen to your gut, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, and stay tuned next week for green flags. If you want to support the show, remember you can always click the button on the website or send me Cash App, Katrina Dragon. And as always, I do appreciate each and every one of you simply for existing.